It all started when a small team of scientists discovered something strange deep beneath the surface of the Earth. They were conducting routine geological surveys, mapping the underground layers of rock when they stumbled upon something that shouldn't have been there. What they first thought was just another anomaly turned out to be far more than that, an enormous metallic structure, one that seemed to stretch miles underground. The discovery was not just a mystery, it was a potential game-changer. This wasn't just an old bunker or a forgotten facility, it was something far more advanced. The object was huge, far beyond anything that could have been built by any known civilization. At first, the scientists kept the find under wraps, fearing that the public might panic. But as more tests were conducted, the truth became undeniable. This was a ship, a massive one, buried deep beneath Earth for reasons no one could yet understand. As the news broke out, the world was left in shock. Governments scrambled to assess the situation. What was this ship? Who built it? Why was it hidden beneath Earth, unnoticed for so long? These were questions that needed answers, and fast. The world's top minds were brought together to study the ship. After weeks of scanning and investigating, it became clear that this was no ordinary craft. The ship had technology that was far beyond anything humanity had ever seen. It was powered by an energy source that didn't even exist in Earth's current scientific understanding. And the ship's design, it was unlike anything on Earth. Sleek, sharp, and immense, it looked like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. But it wasn't just the technology that was astonishing. The ship had markings, symbols, and language that no one could decipher. They seemed ancient, as if this ship had been here for longer than Earth itself had known. One theory suggested that it might have been a relic of some long-lost alien civilization that had visited Earth long before humans even walked on it. But why was it here? And why was it hidden so deep underground? The ship began to activate, slowly powering up in a way that no one could explain. It was as if the ship had been waiting for something, and the moment it detected human activity nearby, it responded. The team of scientists, now working around the clock, found themselves not just studying an artifact of history but witnessing the awakening of something far greater. As the ship powered up, strange signals began to emerge. It wasn't just Earth that was receiving these signals, they were being picked up by deep space telescopes, too. The signals were faint at first, but as the ship came to life, they grew stronger. And that's when the world realized, this was not just a discovery of a lost ship. It was the beginning of something far more significant. Something far bigger than anyone could have predicted. The signals weren't just random bursts of noise. They were a pattern, an intentional message. And it didn't take long for the experts to realize that the signals were coming from far beyond the solar system, from a distant corner of the galaxy. The message was clear. Someone, or something, out there had noticed the awakening of the ship. And now, it was only a matter of time before they would come. The discovery of the supercarrier was just the beginning. The quiet planet Earth, once considered an insignificant corner of the universe, had now caught the attention of forces much greater than itself. The galaxy was watching, and the silence of space was no more. As tensions rose across the world, governments struggled to come to grips with the reality of the situation. What would they do? The supercarrier was far more than just a tool, it was a weapon, a key, a puzzle. And somewhere in the galaxy, someone was waiting to claim it. But who? And why had it been hidden on Earth all this time? The ship's activation sent a clear message to Earth's leaders, this was just the beginning. Whatever had been triggered beneath the planet's surface was far from over. And the real question remained, what would happen when the rest of the galaxy came calling? The world watched in awe and fear as the massive ship, now revealed to be a supercarrier, continued to hum with an energy that no one could understand. It was as if the ship itself had a heartbeat, pulsing with life after eons of dormancy. Scientists, engineers, and military personnel were quickly brought in, forming a secretive international task force dedicated to understanding the ship. But every attempt to communicate with it was met with silence. The ship's advanced systems refused to reveal any secrets, remaining closed to all external attempts at contact. Despite the barriers, the ship's behavior was unmistakable. It was waking up. Slowly but surely, the massive structure began to unfold. The once dormant engines powered up, sending shockwaves through the surrounding region. The ground trembled as if the ship was preparing to rise from its hidden slumber beneath Earth's surface. Its metallic plates shifted, creaking as though they hadn't moved in millennia. For weeks, the scientific community worked tirelessly, studying the ship's strange, otherworldly markings. Some of the symbols were similar to ancient writings found in scattered archaeological sites around the world. Others were completely alien, unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. The more they studied, the more it became clear that the ship was not just a weapon, it was something else, something far more complex. It was a key, a map, a connection to something ancient and far-reaching across the galaxy. At the heart of the ship was a vast control room, seemingly powered by energy sources beyond current human comprehension. It radiated with a hum, a resonance that could be felt deep within one's chest. When the ship's systems began to respond to human presence, it was as if it recognized their touch. The ship, after thousands of years of silence, was alive again, and it was responding to Earth's inhabitants. But this wasn't a simple awakening. The ship was not just a machine, but an intelligent, ancient entity, and it had a purpose. As the supercarrier slowly powered up, it started to send out signals, coded messages that rippled through the cosmos, reaching across vast distances. The team of scientists, now working closely with a network of global intelligence agencies, began to realize that the signals were more than just random bursts. They were coordinates. Points on a galactic map that had been hidden for centuries, awaiting discovery. What was even more unsettling was that these coordinates pointed to locations far beyond the known galaxy. They led to a forgotten corner of space, one that was seemingly untouched by the civilizations that had once dominated the galaxy. It was clear that the ship had once been part of something far greater, something that spanned entire star systems. And now, Earth had accidentally unlocked the door to that forgotten past. At the same time, something else was happening. The ship's power seemed to be growing. The more it powered up, the more it drew from Earth's energy reserves, tapping into the planet's resources in ways no one could have anticipated. Electrical grids across continents flickered as if the supercarrier were siphoning energy, drawing everything it needed to reach full operational status. It wasn't just tapping into Earth's energy, it was transforming it, reshaping the planet's very core to fuel its systems. As the ship's systems activated, strange phenomena began to occur across the world. People reported strange visions, glowing lights in the sky, electromagnetic disturbances, and an eerie sense of being watched. The world's most brilliant minds struggled to understand what was happening. Was the ship a weapon? Was it an ancient construct built to protect the galaxy? Or was it something much more dangerous, something that could change the fate of the universe itself? The more the team studied the supercarrier, the more it became clear that it was far beyond human understanding. Its systems were not just mechanical, they were alive in a way that couldn't be explained. The ship itself seemed to be sentient, responding to its environment and the presence of humans in strange and unpredictable ways. The only certainty was that the ship had been waiting for something. And now that it was awake, it was preparing for something much bigger. As Earth's top leaders and scientists scrambled to understand the purpose of the supercarrier, they soon realized that the awakening was no accident. It was a signal, a sign that Earth was no longer alone in the universe. The ship had been hidden for a reason, and its purpose was far greater than anyone could have imagined. One thing became clear, something or someone out there had noticed the supercarrier's activation. And now, Earth was about to face an enemy unlike any it had ever encountered. The silence of space was over. And as the supercarrier's engines roared to life, the galaxy itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting for what would come next. The ship was not just a relic of the past, it was a harbinger of something much more dangerous. Something was coming, and Earth had just opened the door. As the supercarrier continued to hum with a quiet, but undeniable energy, the situation on Earth grew increasingly tense. The ship, once thought to be an ancient artifact, had become the focal point of every government, every military leader, and every scientist across the globe. No one had answers, and even fewer dared to ask the most terrifying question: what happens when the ship is fully awakened? It was on a quiet evening that Earth received its first real sign that they were not alone in the universe. A sudden, powerful signal was detected, this time not emanating from the ship, but from deep space. The signal was a clear pattern of rhythmic bursts, unlike anything ever heard before. It wasn't random noise, nor was it a natural phenomenon. It was a message, and it was coming from beyond the stars. For the first time, Earth's military and scientific communities came together in a single, unified panic. The message was intercepted and decoded. The message itself was simple, but chilling: we have heard the awakening. Prepare yourselves. The implications were staggering. Whatever this entity or civilization was, it had been monitoring the supercarrier. And now, it was coming. The atmosphere around the world shifted. Countries locked down their borders, and global leaders went into emergency meetings. The question wasn't whether they could fight, but whether they even stood a chance. The supercarrier, despite its power, could not protect them from what was coming. The message from deep space was a warning, not to prepare for an alliance, but for an invasion. The first wave of the alien fleet had already been deployed, and they were on their way to Earth. The alien ships were unlike anything seen before. Vast, sleek, and terrifying, they appeared on Earth's radar systems as dark, elongated shapes, resembling nothing more than voids in space, consuming light itself. They moved with an elegance and purpose that suggested intelligence far beyond Earth's most advanced technologies. As they drew closer, the planet's governments realized they had made a grave mistake: they had unleashed something far beyond their control. As the alien fleet entered the edge of Earth's orbit, Earth's military launched a desperate counteroffensive. Jets, missiles, and laser weapons shot toward the alien ships, but none of their weapons had any effect. The alien vessels were shielded by technology that Earth could barely comprehend, let alone defeat. It wasn't just that the weapons failed, they didn't even reach the alien ships. Some reports claimed that the alien ships seemed to bend space itself, making their movements unpredictable and unstoppable. No matter how much Earth's forces tried, they could not touch them. The reality became clear: Earth was defenseless. The alien fleet was not here to negotiate, nor were they here to help. They were here to take what they had come for, the supercarrier. In a frantic attempt to understand the alien threat, Earth's leaders decided to send a communication back into space. The hope was that they could reason with the invaders, but they had no idea who or what they were dealing with. The response they received was swift, and it was far from diplomatic. The alien fleet sent a direct transmission, its message delivered in an unnerving tone that shook Earth's communication systems. The ship is ours. You have violated the sacred rules of the galaxy. Surrender it now, or face extinction. The word sent shockwaves across the planet. Who were these beings? What did they mean by sacred rules? And most importantly, why was the supercarrier so important to them? With no time to spare, Earth's military command scrambled to fortify their defenses and prepare for the inevitable. But even as the preparations unfolded, a strange thing occurred. The supercarrier, which had been dormant for thousands of years, seemed to stir once more. Its ancient systems, once thought to be locked and dormant, began to power up at an unprecedented rate. It was as though the supercarrier had been waiting for this moment, waiting for the enemy to come. The ship's weapons, hidden within its immense hull, began to hum with power. Giant doors that had been sealed for millennia opened, revealing colossal energy cannons that stretched across the sky. The supercarrier was no longer just a dormant relic, it was transforming into something much more dangerous. With the alien fleet closing in, Earth's forces were faced with a desperate decision. Should they activate the supercarrier's weapons and risk drawing the full wrath of the alien invaders? Or should they try to flee, to escape the inevitable fate that seemed to be closing in on them? The supercarrier's weapons powered up, and a deep rumbling filled the air. There was no turning back now. Earth had awakened something, and it seemed that the galaxy was ready to collect its debt. The alien fleet's lead ship, a massive black pyramid, slowly drifted into view, its terrifying silhouette casting a shadow over Earth's cities. The ship was unlike any vessel Earth had ever seen, exuding an aura of ancient power and menace. The alien message had been clear: the supercarrier was their property, and they would stop at nothing to claim it. But just as it seemed all hope was lost, something unexpected happened. The supercarrier's massive engines roared to life, and without warning, it launched itself into space. The ship didn't leave Earth's orbit as expected. Instead, it created a shockwave that rattled the alien ships, forcing them to retreat for a brief moment. The battle was just beginning, and Earth's survival now depended on its most unlikely ally, the supercarrier itself. But would it be enough? And was humanity prepared to face what was waiting on the other side of the galaxy? As the alien fleet retreated momentarily, the people of Earth breathed a collective sigh of relief. It was an illusion, however, a brief moment of respite before the storm. The supercarrier, now fully awakened and unleashed, had proven to be more powerful than anyone had anticipated. But as the alien ships regrouped, preparing for another attack, a grim realization began to settle in: Earth was not equipped to face an enemy of this magnitude. The world's military forces, now united in a single, desperate front, had done their best to defend Earth. But no matter how much technology they threw at the problem, it became clear that the alien invaders were simply too advanced. Their ships warped space around them, their weapons deflected Earth's missiles with ease, and their strength seemed unmatchable. The alien fleet's only goal was simple: to take control of the supercarrier, no matter the cost. As the battle continued, Earth's leaders met in secret. There was no time left to strategize on the battlefield. The question now was how to survive. Should they continue fighting and risk complete annihilation, or should they attempt to flee? It was a tough choice. But one option, one desperate measure, began to emerge as humanity's only chance. The supercarrier was not just a weapon, it was an ark, a vessel capable of far more than anyone could imagine. It wasn't merely a tool of destruction, it was built for something greater. No one knew what lay beyond the stars, but Earth's best scientists and military experts now believed that the supercarrier could take them somewhere safe, somewhere far away from the alien threat. In the shadow of the alien fleet, Earth's leaders made the ultimate decision: they would use the supercarrier to escape Earth. They would leave their home behind and travel deep into space, hoping to find refuge among the stars. The supercarrier's systems, now fully operational, seemed to offer the only hope for survival. The task was monumental. The supercarrier was immense, too large to move without a monumental effort. Yet, it was the only choice humanity had left. Military engineers, working alongside the ship's ancient control systems, began to activate the supercarrier's hyperdrive engines. These engines, which had been dormant for millennia, flared to life as if they had been waiting for this very moment. But Earth was not just escaping the alien threat, it was escaping a dying world. The planet's atmosphere was deteriorating rapidly under the strain of the supercarrier's activation. Earth was becoming unstable, and the long-term future of the planet was uncertain at best. The supercarrier began to rise slowly from Earth's surface, its massive engines roaring to life, creating shockwaves across the planet. As the ship ascended, the alien fleet regrouped. They had been caught off guard, but they were relentless. Within minutes, the alien fleet began to attack, sending massive energy blasts toward the supercarrier. The first wave of firepower hit, but the supercarrier's shields absorbed the impact, pushing the ship further into space. It wasn't fast enough. The alien fleet followed closely behind, launching everything they had at the fleeing vessel. In a final desperate move, the supercarrier activated its weapons, sending out a massive energy pulse that obliterated the first wave of enemy ships. But there were still more, many more. As Earth's final defenders fought to keep the alien ships at bay, the supercarrier made its final jump into deep space. The galaxy stretched out before them, an expanse that no human had ever dreamed of crossing. The supercarrier, with Earth's survivors aboard, broke free from the clutches of the alien fleet and entered the unknown. For a brief moment, the survivors of Earth felt a strange sense of hope. They had escaped the immediate danger, but they had not escaped their fate. The alien fleet, though temporarily shaken, would not relent. The galaxy was vast, but it was also filled with dangers, both known and unknown. And now, Earth was a target, not just for the alien invaders, but for any force in the galaxy who might seek to claim the secrets that lay within the supercarrier's ancient walls. As the supercarrier journeyed through the vastness of space, it passed through uncharted regions of the galaxy. The stars around them began to change, becoming unfamiliar constellations. There was no going back. The survivors of Earth were now on an intergalactic journey, one that could either save them or doom them. In the control room of the supercarrier, scientists and military leaders worked in tandem to unlock the ship's secrets. Every new discovery revealed something deeper, an ancient civilization that had once ruled the galaxy, hidden knowledge, advanced technology, and strange artifacts. The ship was not just a weapon, nor was it just an ark. It was a key to unlocking the mysteries of the galaxy, and those mysteries were far from friendly. The supercarrier's systems began to map out a course, leading the ship through a path that no human had ever traveled. It seemed to know where it was going, toward some distant destination, a place that might hold the answers they sought. But the road ahead was perilous, and the alien fleet was not the only threat lurking in the darkness of space. Earth's escape was only the beginning of a new and uncertain chapter, one that would force humanity to face challenges beyond anything they had ever imagined. In the vast unknown, Earth was no longer a blue dot in the sky, it was a lost ship, drifting in the emptiness of space. But in the hearts of those aboard, hope remained. They were survivors, and the galaxy had just become their new home. The supercarrier drifted silently through the void of space, its massive engines humming like a heartbeat in the cold expanse. Earth's survivors, once proud and numerous, were now scattered across the vast corridors of the supercarrier, clinging to the last shred of hope. The ancient vessel, which had served as their last escape, now stood as a beacon of uncertainty, its mysterious controls and hidden technology still largely a puzzle. For weeks, the supercarrier journeyed through the unknown, passing through nebulae and asteroid fields, its destination unclear. The galaxy beyond Earth was an alien landscape, full of strange celestial bodies and unknown threats. Despite their fears and the looming presence of the alien fleet chasing them, the survivors couldn't help but feel the awe of discovery. They had crossed the boundaries of their world and entered a much larger universe, a universe that held both peril and promise. The supercarrier's course, once erratic and unpredictable, suddenly became more purposeful. As the ship's systems began to map out the stars in intricate patterns, Earth scientists and military strategists realized something unsettling. The ship wasn't just fleeing, it was leading them somewhere. It was as though the supercarrier had a mind of its own, guiding them with an ancient knowledge of the galaxy that far surpassed human understanding. Inside the ship's control room, a small group of scientists and military personnel pored over the new data being sent by the supercarrier's systems. Maps of distant star systems began to appear on their screens, and symbols, alien in design, flashed across the monitors. Some of these symbols matched the markings found on the ship's exterior, while others were completely new. Slowly, a terrifying pattern emerged. The supercarrier was taking them to a location at the farthest reaches of the galaxy, a place that had been abandoned for millennia. A place that held the secrets of an ancient, forgotten civilization that had once ruled the entire galaxy. And within that place, hidden among the ruins, was a power so great that the alien fleet, and perhaps other galactic powers, would stop at nothing to possess it. But there was something more chilling about the revelation. The ancient civilization had disappeared long ago, leaving only whispers of their existence behind. Some of the data, now being deciphered by the crew, suggested that the civilization had fallen to a catastrophic event. One that had wiped out all but the most powerful remnants of their technology. And now, it seemed that Earth had stumbled upon the very edge of a secret war that had raged across the galaxy for eons. As the supercarrier continued its journey, the survivors began to feel the weight of the truth settling in. They were no longer just running from the alien fleet, they were about to uncover a dark history of galactic conflict, one that was far older than Earth itself. And whatever had destroyed the ancient civilization was still out there, lurking in the shadows. The supercarrier's systems continued to guide them, finally bringing them to the edges of an ancient star system, one that seemed dead, devoid of any planets or life. But as the supercarrier approached, it was clear that something was hidden there, beneath the surface of a barren world. A massive structure, a ruin from a forgotten age, loomed on the horizon, its dark silhouette casting an eerie shadow over the empty void. This was it, the place where the ancient civilization had once thrived, where the power they had left behind was waiting to be claimed. But as the supercarrier neared the structure, an ominous silence descended over the crew. They felt a strange energy, cold and ancient, radiating from the ruins. The supercarrier itself seemed to hesitate, as if it too recognized the significance of this place. Suddenly, a transmission crackled through the supercarrier's communication systems. It wasn't a message from the alien fleet, nor from any known civilization. It was a voice, strange and distorted, but unmistakably intelligent. "You are not meant to be here. Leave now, or you will awaken the last of us." The message sent shivers down the spines of everyone aboard the supercarrier. The voice was not human, nor was it alien in any way they had encountered before. It spoke of ancient things, things that should have been left forgotten. The survivors realized that they were standing on the edge of a galactic mystery far greater than any of them had imagined. Whatever lay ahead, it was something that had been hidden for a reason. The supercarrier's systems began to react, its lights flickering as if the ship itself was preparing for a confrontation. The once mysterious markings on the walls of the ship seemed to glow brighter, pulsing with an eerie energy. It was as if the ship was alive, aware of the danger that lay ahead. But the survivors couldn't turn back. The alien fleet was still in pursuit, and they were now standing on the threshold of a galaxy-changing discovery. The fate of humanity, and perhaps the entire galaxy, now rested in their hands. Would they dare to enter the ruins and unlock the secrets of the ancient civilization? Or would they heed the warning and leave, forever unsure of the power they had uncovered? The supercarrier began its descent toward the ancient structure, and the survivors knew there was no going back. They had awakened something far older than themselves. But now, they had to face the consequences. The galaxy had been silent for far too long, and it was time for its secrets to be revealed.